No matter what people want you to believe, don't ever turn back on your dreams. It's all in your hands, a change is near. Close your eyes, listen, the sound is so clear.
Hey guys, it's Alana. Welcome back to my channel. So I know it's been a while. I haven't done a video in quite some time. So to be quite honest, I've been going through a lot, spiritual journey, transformation, learning, indulging more in tarot, but also even with therapy. And a lot of what I've been learning and living actually, basically at the same time, and putting to use my experience as a registered social worker and just personal experience and everything like that. And I've reached a point in my journey in spirituality, recently turned 40 in September, and just with everything that has been going on in my life in the last several years to present, it's been a lot. And you somewhere along the line figure out that it's a test to your true strength, your true power. And it's funny because even just before my birthday, sort of leading up to it, there have been a lot of things that I've either bared witness to, situations that I've been a part of, personally, and I've had to navigate and advocate for myself and those I care about so much, and all at the same time. And given my background as a Christian, and sort of my childhood upbringing, combined with my chosen career and and naturally just who I am as a person, I further discovering as I've sort of broken barriers in the sense of personal barriers, and in the sense of my upbringing and the confusion I always had with it, and stuff like that. But I've also seen where there's sort of this trend where I've noticed in the last several years as I've been on this journey for myself, there's been a lot of moving away from the traditional idea of spirituality, religion actually, right? And sort of moving into more of the pagan, sort of earthly type of more of spirituality. But what I've also seen as part of this trend is a lot that have sort of left that part behind, and with similar experiences, personally, where I've seen the hypocrisy in in a lot of things, and a lot of people who call themselves religious and things like that. So I see and I understand why the moving away. There's a lot of you're seeing a lot more trauma-based experiences that people are having, where whether they're being honest with it or not, but they're identifying it for themselves. And, so there's, and there's, of course, what we know that's in the media, and what we know in history that has occurred in the name of religious beliefs. Anyway, all that being said, I've also had to deal with a lot of personal mental health issues. Mental health issues of family members, mental health issues of friends, significant other, and even for myself, among a whole bunch of other slew of things. And so, and over the 20 some odd years, living a professional life of, of life of service, sorry. I've worked in various fields. I've worked with various clienteles. I've heard various, a lot of stories. And even with my education background, and the idea and the thirst for knowledge that I recognize, that is definitely something, one of the values that was really instilled in me by my mother. And as much as I, at the time, would have detested her for pushing me the way that she did, I can say that I'm grateful for it now. So, and one of the things that my mom would always say is, knowledge is power, knowledge is power. And, she's always has that way. Anyway, with all of that, like I said, I've also been the type that I learn by doing. I learn by what I'm immersed in and things like that, right? And and what I practice and preach and stuff. And as I've, done this introspection, over the course of COVID and everything like that, I don't know, there's so much that I've learned in the several years that, tragedy has also struck me. And so I've reached a point in my life, also with my birthday, I've done so much introspection work and therapy that it's almost second nature now. And I've kind of been doing the work simultaneously, side by side. And even, as I've also, worked in the field and then got burnt out in the field as well, and all of that stuff. But somehow I'm still using all these skills and these tools that I've learned from, like I said, education, experience, blah, blah, blah. And even in my therapy sessions. And as I've been diving into other aspects of spirituality and, sort of not leaving behind my Christianity roots, but further embracing them, but morphing it into something that reflects me and my experience and everything that has been me for the last 40 years of my life. Embracing my inner child and stuff like that. And a lot of that, I have to say is also thanks to tragedy, of course, because with the pandemic and, not working and not being able to go back to, a regular, not 9 to 5 job or whatever, and still having to live, still having the drive to want to support others despite all the, bickering advice that, and betrayals that have occurred in my life. I've always kept my heart open. I've always stayed true to that. And I could never understand why no, that's a lie. I take that back. It's not that I never. Okay. Actually, yes. Two thoughts were like happening at the same time. That's what was going on. So I've never understood why I could never do what everybody else, has done, or, the advice that people have given me to stop doing what I'm doing because, I'm being taken advantage of. I'm a people pleaser, blah, 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 whatever the story is, okay? But I also, as I dive further into spirituality and I watch, I have nothing else to do when I live alone, so, I'm like a real life hermit here. And I diving into a lot of YouTube and, meeting and talking to different creators and getting to fall in love with different creators and listening and taking in what they're saying and learning from them and seeing what works for me and what doesn't, and, banking whatever else, for somebody else or whatever. I've learned a lot. And the gratitude that I have now, again, still Christianity, so I will refer to, whatever you would interpret it as, higher power or whatever, is God, because for me it's God. I will still say the universe and whatever else at the same, too, I would acknowledge that. But for me, rooted in my heritage, my upbringing, my ancestry, it's God. So I continue to honor that in spite of everything that I've had going on, because if I've never learned any other lesson, and everything that I've been taught, from childhood about Christianity and whatever, the one biggest lesson that has stuck like glue, like permanent glue, literally, is that God is love. And we are his people. And it doesn't matter where and what life path journey we have gone on and somehow been divided, we still are his people. We come from him. He is our source. That's the idea. He created life. Now, we won't get into all the debate about whatever, belief system, you've adhered to. Whew, that is a slippery slope. And that's totally a whole nother rabbit hole. And I ain't going down that road right now. But basically, anyways, and I'm kind of just sort of summing up some of, my earlier videos that I've posted, whatever. But, of course, to hear more of, kind of what I'm talking about, and, some of the people that I've been listening to that have attracted me, that I've, feel that have served me in the best possible way, I forever hold near and dear to my heart. And as I said in an earlier video, I am love. I've embraced that, the embodiment of love, because my heart has always been open. And actually, so I was talking about my 40th birthday. Before that, I learned that I always thought when my dad had his accident, a work accident, my mom had just, it was around that time, my mom had just met him. And I've heard the story about the accident in the hospital and all what took place surrounding that many, many times in the last, 40 years of my life, that, from the time that I was able to ever understand about, the story, I've heard it over and over again. But the one thing that I always believed, or I always thought, I never really, I guess, further search confirmation for or whatever, was I always thought that when my dad had his accident, I was already conceived, that, my mom was pregnant at the time. So with all the stories I've ever heard surrounding that incident, I always thought, well, my mom was pregnant at the time. I was already, about to be part of this world. But still baking. But then it turns out, no, that actually wasn't the case. And I realized that, so when that accident happened, one of the things that I remember my mom always telling me about the story is that she was somewhere, and I can't remember what the entire specifics surrounding that part, but she was somewhere, and when she was talking to them about, whoever she was talking to about, about what had happened to my dad at the time with the accident, she was basically warned that, this is the perfect time to run. You don't know what you're in for, what you're getting yourself into, the extent. But because of who my mom is, naturally how she was raised, things like that, my mother did not feel right in abandoning someone in their weakest moment. So she stayed with my dad. Now, she had only known him a few months when this occurred. And she made the choice to stay and help, and sequentially, I can't remember, she doesn't remember how long from the time, she decided to do that to when I, was conceived or whatever, when I've asked her, but whatever, besides the case, the rest is, that part of the story is, is history, and here I am, 40. And I'm here. And my head has always ever been open ever since. Because that's the reason why I'm here. Love, the choice to love, because we're all deserving of love, is the reason why I'm here. I am here today because of my mother's choice. A woman's choice. And when I say that, I mean the feminine, the embodiment, the person who can bear life any person who has the ability to bear life, any animal that has the ability to bear life. But for us, and all its intellect, can easily forget we were given free will for a reason. But being kind is a choice. All good things are a choice. Evil is also a choice. And in spite of everything my mother had to endure, in those 40 years, my mother has never left my side. Even with all the pain and all the ups and downs and everything that has ever occurred in my life, my mother has been there at my worst. So anyway, so in these months of hiatus that I've, haven't been making videos, I've been dealing with a lot, not just with the spiritually, and dealing with mental health and therapy and all of that stuff, but just navigating life and dealing with people and viewing interactions and stuff like that. And I remember, well, this is a while back before I started my YouTube channel. Lovely woman named Sadhana from Integrative Healing with Sadhana. I took one of her online classes, and I had reached out to her because I guess ever since then, as I was coming into trying to understand what my journey was at the worst possible stage of my life, there was an exercise, and it was, I guess, part of a meditation, and the question that she had posed was to think about all of the people that are in your life, or that, of people that you admire. And what is the commonality of these people, and why you admire them? And so as I wrote it down and I started journaling again and stuff like that and whatever, all a part of what has been leading, I've been sort of led to through, being stuck inside, watching whatever I've been attracted to watch on YouTube, and, all the, the creators from tarot and other spiritual forums that, I've come to enjoy, and sort of, and the work that I've been sort of doing with therapy, that I've also, I also, like I said, my education, everything sort of coming all together, I went back to journaling. But there's a childhood trauma story as to why I even though I always knew it was something I enjoyed doing and something I did, I'd stopped doing it for from teenage years into most of my adult life. I stopped doing that, even up to, maybe the last year or so, for the most part, because, like I said, there's a childhood story around that, and invasion of privacy and whatever. So, I never, and I guess that's also what has shaped my my personality, because I'm always in my head. My brain does not shut off. And, you know, that has also led to some mental health issues that I deal with in my life. And, you know, all this stuff that sort of, you know, attributes. Anyway, so of course, what kind of rabbit hole did I go down once I started thinking about all these thoughts? Well, one of the choices I thought when I was, you know, deciding what I was going to take at university, which I settled on social work, was psychology. And one of the trends too, and is dive into mental health. And here I'm sitting here living like a hermit, and my mind goes a mile a minute, and I'm reading and I'm doing all this and watching YouTube and diving into spirituality and blah, blah, blah. And watching TV and watching shows, I realize I'm deepening my connection to God. And as I'm doing this, everyone is speaking to me. My ancestors, God. Because I looked in the mirror and I woke up to who I am. I'm the embodiment. I'm connected to where we all are. And as we all are, we, somewhere along the way, life gets in the way and we forget. But as we all are, we all deserving of a part of who we are. And I've spent my entire life giving and doing that. And I know what it's like. I also know what it's like to do without. Especially the emotional aspect of it. So, I embrace who I am. I'm love. I've always been that way. I'm going to continue to do it that way, and in spite of everything that I've been through, I'm going to commit to doing that, but my own way, because I'm the magician. I'm the empress. My life path number with my birthday is 3. So that's 3 degrees of love. I'm discovering I'm love. And so I give it as I want to receive it. My heart has always been open that way. I've discovered many things and diving further into astrology and things like that, and it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride, not only that, and emotionally with everything that I have going on, like my emotional bandwidth is stretched so strongly, so tightly. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because to close my heart is to deny a part of who I am, a big part of who I am. No, I'm the tie that binds. I'm the tie in this today that binds my past, not just my past, but my past's past. Allow before me, my ancestors. We're all connected. You want proof of that? Go watch Manifest. That's one of the shows that's a series on Netflix that was actually on regular TV. And It's all connected. We're all connected. And as I said, and when I say the universe is speaking to me, it's speaking to me in all the mediums and, you know, all the people that I'm drawn to, that I've learned from. And I hold so much gratitude to everyone that has been part of this journey. My doctors, my therapist, my mother, everybody. Even those who have hurt me. I mean, I'm not thankful for the pain, thanks, you know what I mean? But, like, those connections that, you know, were in and then out. They served their purpose, and I will forever be in my gratitude. And you know, every piece of those experiences has shaped who I am. And so I'm grateful for that. And I hope to build a legacy for myself somehow, however small that may be. And hopefully, you know, hope to help others in the process. So it's all that I've ever wanted to do. And even though I can't do it in the way that I used to, I hope to do it in the way that I can, and that is within my power to do so. So I am coming back. Here I am. I am love. And I will commit to forever raining my love to everyone I meet. Because that's who I am. Anyways, so that was a 30-minute ramble. I am going to say goodbye until next time. And until then, I hope that you will continue to follow me, like, share, and subscribe. I have a lot of wild ideas and stuff that I like to do, and, you know, we're here with the channel and stuff, and so I look forward to seeing you soon. And until then, live, listen, learn. I love you. Bye.
Gotta love, gotta love, gotta love one another. 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 No matter what people want you.